exit failure. Exit failure. Then this is our first member function. Then the same
There
thing.
shouldn't it, sorry, so shouldn't it be W is smaller than or equal to 0?
W must be great equals to 0. When width is greater equals to 0, what we are saying, like, we are assuming that it can never be there in the room. If you, let's say, for example, we are working with the width or the length of a room, it cannot be less than 0.
Yeah, so it should be W is less than or equal to, not bigger than.
Okay. You said what W must be?
It should be less than or equal to 0. You put it should be it should be bigger than.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
It must, when I say the W must be greater than, if you check there, I use greater than. Do you see that? If W is greater than or equals to 0, then it must set the width.
Oh, sorry. I see.
Yes. If it's less than, else, if this condition is false, then it must be an invalid, because we cannot work with a negative width. Now you get
Yeah,
it.
no, I see.
Then the same program here, we can copy it, because it's still gonna apply to the one for set what? For set it will apply to the one for set set what? For set length. We can just change here. Then maybe we can put L or LN, is up to you. Then here, which means we're gonna change to LN. And then here is gonna be length equals to LN. Then here, invalid length, you just change to length. Then we are done. So this is still the same thing. If, like, I'm not gonna talk much, because both of them, they are setting what? They are setting the length and the width. They are the same. Even the width, it implies that it must not be what? It must not be 0. So we can also go now to the way get the one for get width. For get width was double. You just say double rectangle, and then get the width. It was constant in our definition there. Then this one is just gonna return width. Then the same applies. Remember, our rectangle, the name of our class is not a small letter, it's R, the capital letter. It must be exactly as the name of your class. So it's gonna return the length. So this one here, they are going to be returning. That's how you write your member functions. Then we're gonna have the last one for area. It was also double. You can even see them as is supposed to be here, the area. Okay, but it's not showing. Get area, it won't be showing, because remember, here we are not in the class definition. For the area, it's gonna return a width multiplied by height, because it's just the matter of multiplication. Multiply by length. I'm used to length multiplied by height, L multiplied by H. So now we have just done with our our file for member functions. So when we are done with that, now it's like you have a second one. So if you notice here in our file, we have a rectangle. Inside we have make and hash include rectangle. So in our rectangle, there is a mistake that I did there. It was supposed to be .h, like that. So the reason part, why do we have a double quotation mark in this one, and why do we have in this hash include stream, the triangular one, is because in the header file that they are already been defined in your compiler, they must be in a header file. So the header file that you create by your own self, you write for by yourself, you include them with a double quotation mark. That's the difference. That's the reason why in that rectangular, because we are creating that header file by ourselves. So we have to include what? We have to include the triangular. We have to include the double quotation mark. So the reason this, it means that when you see in the double quotation mark, it indicates that the file, this header file, the file is located in the current project directory. So when you see this one here, the way, or this one, these two, it indicates that the file is located in the compiler's what? Include file directory. So those are the difference. So which means if they can ask you in any question for 1 mark between the two, you must be able to distinguish the difference between these two. So by just doing this, we have written our what? Our file for finding the member function of our class. So is there, do you guys have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, so if you have heard me properly, the first one I showed you with the how to write a file for like for the declaration of a class. Now I show you how to write a file for member functions you created in your class. So now the proceeding one we're going to do in the preceding class, we're going to do how to write a file for the CPP, the rectangle.cpp. Then after that, when you understand that, then we're gonna take tomorrow, after that one is gonna give us maybe 5 minutes, then we're going to take some few questions. I'm going to get few questions in the question paper, then we treat them together, then you see how you answer that. Then after that, we proceed with the left chapters for course 1512. So if you have a question based on what we are doing today, you can ask me, but this is just a small thing. The only thing that is important is you must know the why are we using that, and then also the one I show you, and if and what is the meaning of that, and if and
Sir,
hello.
in the previous one where we did our class declaration,
Yes.
I think your first header file was incorrect. Is it not supposed to be if and def? You
If
didn't write
okay,
that.
like you mean hash, let me write if and d ne?
Yes,
Yes,
you
this
have to
one.
write
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's this
Then it
one.
has then it's rectangle in capital letters,
Yes.
and then it is a slash at the bottom with the H, right?
Yeah, rectangle is gonna be rectangle like this way, underscore h.
And then you underneath that you have hash define rectangle, and that one should also have a H or not?
Yes, it must have an h. That's why
Yeah.
if you see something that I put